Good morning, 7:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to wish everybody a good morning here on this Tuesday morning, as it's going to be a hot and humid one here in Michigan, as right now it feels pretty humid out here this morning. For 66 degrees, it is rather humid. It's going to be a pretty warm day, it feels like. But as we get into the charts, XRP's up 1.04% today. We're right at about the 54.27 cent level. Right now, we're continuing our move up. We held our major resistance area, the pivot point at 5377. And now we're starting to push up just ever so slowly. Which, if you're a part of the community, you're not surprised by this movement. We've been telegraphing this move. We had this little descending consolidation that we broke out of. That first target was 53.77, and a hold on that target should bring us up to the top capitulation at about 50. It's between 57.1 and 57. I think it's 57.4 cents on the cup and handle. Let's see. Yeah, 57.4, and that was the estimated move on this inverse head and shoulders that I had brought to everybody's attention when XRP was down here, when it was doing the consolidation of this inverted right arm. We talked about how the 508 to 513 level would be a beautiful buy-in, especially from leverage. And it seems to be playing out right now. XRP Ricky Ripple, I thank you for the back and forth and letting me know about your position and, you know, just getting a little bit of advice. Well, not even advice, but just seeing if you were safe. And I know you hung on to your leverage trade, and now you're doing spectacular. So you made a good decision. It's just always tricky when there's leverage involved, because you don't know on a 35x trade if you're going to get that liquidity sweep. You got a liquidity sweep, but you bought it in a fantastic area, so you were able to survive that liquidity sweep. So I'm very happy this morning seeing XRP, seeing what it's doing. Yes, and the smaller time frames are going to be oversold. That's always going to happen. Once you start a rally, you're going to end up oversold. And then the hope is every time it reconsolidates, it goes to about the midway point, or it bounces to where it could go back into neutral and then just continues oversold. At some point, like we know, we'll have this consolidation like we did yesterday around the 537 area. Yesterday we got all the way up to, and the day before we were up to about 53 cents, pushed back down to 51.36. And then ultimately, if we look at how this played out, if we look at the other chart, if we look at this in a smaller time frame, and these are always very helpful because you know how we go from level to level. So instead of breaking up and back testing this 51.75, we had more strength. We went up, we back tested around the 5377, bounced off of it, and now if we do back test again, we're going to try to hold the 537 on the top side. That's if we come back for consolidation. In the mornings in the USA and the Eastern Standard Time Zone, once we get to about 9 o'clock in the morning, you usually start to see a little bit of volatility to the downside in crypto. But I always write that off to USA users, especially in the East and West Coast. When they wake up, they're looking at the charts and they might have some profit overnight, and they might want to push out, or they might just be getting a little uncomfortable, or whatever the case may be. But they end up finding themselves in or out of a position early in the morning. Generally, you get the correction early in the morning, and it generally ends up being a nicer buying opportunity. Even if it's just a small fake out, you usually get some kind of correction. But I'm excited to see if XRP can push to that 57.1 to 57.4 cents, because ultimately, if we can push past that 57.4, then you open up the door to the cup and handle resistance. And as long as we're in this cup and handle formation, this is a very bullish pattern setup. I've been saying this until I'm blue in the face. From a technical aspect, we are looking for the cup and handle formation or the inverse head and shoulders to signal very big price appreciation. Now, if we're being honest with each other, isn't a cup and handle just inverse head and shoulders playing out in a cup and handle? If so, this is bringing us up to, first layer would be up to 93.56 at that top resistance. But ultimately, the technical target, if this plays true, is $1.18. And then it can come even higher to 137 or 150. But the technical target on a breakout of here, and that's where I put it a long time ago in this area, is I estimated the 70 percentile is where you usually get a breakout. So we targeted it for June 2nd area. Now that doesn't have to hit June 2nd, but that's just where I put it out a long time ago. because it seemed to me to make the most sense. So we're going to go into XRP Bitcoin pairing. We're going to go into Bitcoin. We're going to go into some reading today on the SRP, on the Ripple SEC lawsuit. SEC files opposition to sealing XRP details. Here's everything. And then we'll also get into the XRP news today about how Ethereum spot ETF approvals could open the door to an XRP spot ETF. And just on the rumor yesterday that Ethereum was going to have a spot ETF approval later this week, in a couple days, Ethereum shot up like crazy. It's up over like 20-something% here in a very short amount of time. And it busted beautifully out of that consolidation. Although I think it would have been more warranted to have it like this. And then just for us, it would have made more sense on how to trade this. But it's irrelevant. That broke out just from, let's see, just from May 18th. From the May 18th, Ethereum is up. In 3 days, Ethereum's up 32%. So if you think that's a big move for Ethereum on the possibility of a spot ETF, which, if you ask me, is pretty bizarre, right? We must be in bizarro world to have a possible Ethereum ETF, unless this is just fake news. Because right now, the SEC is going after Ethereum. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. At least on the onset, which, you know, that's all probably fun and fear and nonsense. But that is something on the outskirts that's happening right now. Is the SEC is at least given the illusion that they're looking in to Ethereum. But at the same time, we get some news yesterday by some experts. And they're talking about the Ethereum ETF approval within the next 48 hours. So in 2 days, we're going to hear some talks. It might even be tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Thursday. We're going to get some talks. And we're going to either hear an approval or a rejection. And that's going to cause the crypto market to spiral out of control. But if we get an ETF approval for Ethereum, XRP is right around the corner. I can feel it. The massive capitulation we're looking for to the top side and massive throw of volume to come in, it's going to be on the XRP ETF, coupled with the lawsuit ending at some point. Imagine that double bagger. You get both those catalysts at the same time. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. So please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube recommends this update. By you hitting that like button, I pop up in the YouTube newsfeed, which means when you're looking on YouTube and you're scrolling on your newsfeed, my content will pop up if you're a new or older user, so that more people can find their way to the community. If you're looking to trade XRP like you see in this video, or if you want to trade it after watching this video, in the video description below and or pinned comments, there's BITUNIX, the lowest spot leverage trading fees in the USA. You can buy XRP worldwide with no VPN. You don't have to feel like a criminal. And KYC only if you send or receive from a bank account or you want a higher level of security. And don't get caught in the BS of the fees on other exchanges. It's just a big differential, and you become in control of your own cryptocurrency by not getting charged fees if you're a swing trader at the rate that all these other exchanges do. And then MEXC if you're looking for the XRP Bitcoin pairing. I'll also put that in the pinned comments below. I buy Bitcoin and then I trade it into the XRP Bitcoin pairing. That gives you the option to either sell it back into XRP USD, or you sell it back into XRP/Bitcoin pairing. You sell it back into Bitcoin and then sell it out if the ratio is at a good level. So right now, you know, it's pretty interesting. Our position right now is up. I'm up about 1.2%. I've got $4,200 into the position. So it's a rather large position. So I thank everybody for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the other side of the intro. Please make sure to hit that like button. Okay, so real quick, let's get a little bit of update with the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. So Ripple SEC lawsuit, SEC files opposition to sealing XRP details. Here's everything. So here's some highlights. SEC opposes in part to Ripple's motion to seal and redact evidence related to Remedy's briefing and documents. SEC claims that Ripple's request to conceal financials and securities sales information from the public is unlawful. XRP price jumps 5% in the past 24 hours, but whales sold some of XRP holdings. So Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. The U.S. SEC, or the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, proposes in part to Ripple's motion to seal and redact evidence related to Remedy's briefing and documents. The SEC urges the court to grant an order to make public Ripple's business details in the Remedy's briefing filed by the SEC on March 22nd. Ripple earlier requested the court to keep the financial reports, details on post-complaint XRP institutional sales, and other confidential details sealed and redacted, considering the high risk to Ripple Labs. So the SEC claims to make Ripple's record public. The U.S. SEC has filed its response to Ripple's motion to seal and redact and opposes in part of the motion, as per the latest court filing revealed on May 21st. The SEC claims that Ripple's request to conceal financial and security sales information from the public is unlawful, and the material at issues, such as financial figures and other details, are fundamental to requested remedies. The SEC claims that Ripple's redaction request would hide public information key to the court's decision in the remedies phase and understanding of the public to penalties amount. The details include amount of Ripple's current assets relevant to penalty amount of recent sales, injunctive relief and penalties, revenues and expenses, disgorgement, and the size of discounts to some institutional investors. So here's the official document. So this was filed yesterday, and this is Honorable Annalisa Torres, United States District Court, Southern District of New York, SEC versus Ripple. So dear Judge Trust, Plaintiff Securities and Exchange Commission opposed to, in part, defendant Ripple Labs Inc.'s Ripple letter motion to seal and redact evidence related to the parties' briefing on remedies. The SEC does not oppose Ripple's request to seal 5 exhibits at issue in their entirety, ECF, NOS, blah, 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 and many of its proposed redactions for the proposed purpose of remedies briefing, but in seeking certain redactions of highly relevant information in the parties' briefs and declarations and exhibits filed in support of briefs, Ripple fails to overcome the strong presumption that court filings should be public. The common law right of public access to judicial documents is firmly rooted in our nation's history. The material at issue is fundamental to a rationale behind the SEC's requested remedies. In its briefing and in its publicly posted statements, Ripple invites the public to form opinions about the merits of the SEC's positions. It cannot simultaneously hide from them the evidence on which that position is based, nor do Ripple's conclusory statements of supposed harms suffice to carry Ripple's burden to show exceptional circumstances justifying sealing or redacting, particularly given that much of the evidence is stale or public. Ripple repeatedly points to the SEC's earlier sealing and redaction position in this court's decision in earlier stages of this litigation to justify its request here. But Ripple fails to acknowledge 3 key differences. First, the court's prior holdings ruled as redactions in the context of specific filings, not for the rest of the case. Information not central to the court's liability decision on specific summary judgment, including the financial information and offering terms Ripple seeks to seal, is now at the crux of the remedies decision. Second, Ripple has now been adjudicated to have sold investment contracts without registering these sales or making the disclosure required to do so. Yet Ripple persists in trying to conceal the very information that it legally would have had to disclose to sell those securities. And third, more years have elapsed since the court made those prior rulings on. So that's what we're looking at right now for the documents. Ripple seeks to redact. The SEC has provided a copy that shows in red the requested redactions that the SEC opposes, and in yellow those the SEC does not challenge for the purpose of remedies briefing. So that's something I wanted to bring to everybody's attention and update on the case today, as the SEC has in fact responded to Ripple. So this is they're opposing the sealing that XRP wants to have, or the redactions. So it's pretty interesting to see the way that this is how this is starting to play out here, because the SEC is starting to play a little hardball. And the last bit of reading today, and then we'll go into the charts real quick again. XRP news today: Ethereum spot ETF approvals could open the door for XRP spot ETFs. So on Monday, XRP rallied 5.48%, reversing a 2.11% loss from Sunday, May 19th, closing the session at 53.7 cents. On Monday, news hit the wires of SEC requesting Ethereum spot ETF issuers to update 19B-4 filings urgently. The news fueled a 19.24% Ethereum rally and a total crypto market cap gain of 9.18% to $214.19 billion. An SEC approval of the U.S. Ethereum spot ETFs could pave the way for crypto spot ETF market. Concerns about the SEC labeling Ethereum and altcoin securities has sunk bets on the SEC approving the Ethereum spot ETFs in hopes of an XRP spot ETF market. If the SEC approves the first batch of Ethereum spot ETFs, it might encourage issuers to submit applications for XRP spot ETFs. In November 23, XRP surged a high of 75 cents on fake news of BlackRock filing for XRP spot ETF. The market reaction reflected the price impact of an XRP spot ETF market on XRP. However, the ongoing SEC versus Ripple case remains a hurdle for vying for an XRP spot ETF. And we already know what's going on in the case, as we already read that. So we're just paying attention to the possibility of an Ethereum spot ETF in the next couple days, as some of the wording has been shifted. And there could be a fake out. They could be faking us out to help move the market a little bit. But right now, it's looking pretty strong. So here in the last 4 minutes, let's go over this real quick. XRP Bitcoin pairing up 1.2% to 760. We're starting to move in just a small fashion here. Nothing major yet this morning. Our position's up about just about 1% as of right now. It looks like little W reversal, little head and shoulder, not even just an inverse head and shoulders, but a little cup and handle. We're going to look to hold this 755 sat level if we do come back down, and then we should bounce up to 772. The possibilities here are enormous. If this breaks out bullish, it's an enormous possibility when you look at the entirety of this pattern. And no, it's not just going to come up in one quick swoop. But in the weekly, if this does in fact start reversing, you get over that first sat level, you're going to be looking at that 1,000 sat area. So it's about a 25% move from where we're at. And it looks like an inverse head and shoulders is building up. And for everybody who was in the live yesterday, we talked about this. What if we're starting to come out here and like this is left arm, this is a head, this is right arm. So you could even go boom, boom, and it's slightly declining. But if you do rotate out, eventually in time you'd come all the way back to the top of the formation. Now there's many resistance along the way, but I still think the XRP Bitcoin pairing is extremely undervalued. And instead of looking at it in the long term, I'm looking at it in the shorter time frame where this descending consolidation has happened in this descending triangle, because I believe this is trying to tell us what's to come. So pay attention to the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Put another $200 in yesterday. My average is down around 757 now. Actually a little bit lower because I was up, well no, right now I'm probably up about 1.1%. Earlier I was up 1.6, but that was at like 763 or 764. So pay attention to that. Bitcoin's up 13 points to 71,364. Nobody in our community is surprised by this move. None. Zero. Zilch. I know a lot of people were talking about Bitcoin, crypto being bearish, and I said this makes me even more bullish. And I kept trying to speak my mind, tell everybody the truth. And now we see this inverse head and shoulders is playing out. We've broken out of the pennant flag, and if we play true here, first target was 71,100. Second target here is right around 73,600 if you can get over. That's your final target. 73,400. If you make it past there, in time, 88,000 is already foretold into this formation. As long as Bitcoin played true, and you can see going all the way back when we created that handle, the cup and handle, this played true. We came back into this area, and that would put us up to 88K in time. And right now, it looks like we're starting to surge. We're breaking off of a pennant flag to the top side. You can clearly see a W reversal that is now formed. And for anybody who played this true, like we said, there's a lot of money to be made here. And that's what it looks like it's trying to do now. So we're going to pay attention to XRP. We're going to pay attention to Bitcoin. We're going to pay attention to the XRP Bitcoin pairing. But last but not least, let's just touch XRP real quick again. We already talked in the opening. But XRP right now is trying to bounce up and stay over 537. If we hold the 53.7 cents, our next major resistance is coming up near 57.1 to 57.4 cents, which is the mid-tier handle resistance on the cup and handle as well. And that was our technical target. And then if we can break past that, roughly 67 cents is it's out in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. It is out in front of us still. We just got to get past the 67.4 cents. Please make sure to hit that like button as I'm going to release this update as I've got to take my son to school here. And then tomorrow morning he's going to the pediatrician to get his checkup after being released from the hospital. So that's going to be an adventure. But, you know, you take it one day at a time. You don't really worry about things, and then you get things done. So have a blessed morning, everybody. I thank each and every one of you for the due diligence, and I'll catch you on the afternoon update.